welcome and welcome back to the channel, where today, August 13th, is the day my cat Coco turns 8 years old. A very special occasion, I'm sure you would agree, and I thought the best way to celebrate would be to make her the star of my next video by giving her all the power to decide the subject I'll be drawing and what medium it will be drawn in. So what are we waiting for? Let's start! Every cat owner can relate to the experience of doing laundry, accidentally dropping a shirt or a towel or a sock on the ground, and then before you know it, having this article being claimed as your mini house panther's sovereign property. And this is going to be the basis for how I want to have Coco make these choices for my art. Because I didn't want to waste any paper or ink by drawing on note cards, what I did was lay out some drawstring pouches I still have lying around for makeshift plushies I bought in the past, which are all in different colors. And then in Procreate, I wrote down each option using the same colors as the pouches, and whichever color pouch Coco sits on first will tell me what I'll be drawing. The first round will determine whether I will be creating this artwork digitally or traditionally, so I guess I better enjoy using my iPad for this step while it lasts because Coco chose traditional art. The next round was about the subject I'd be drawing, either a character from one of my fandoms or one of my OCs. For the sake of science, I changed the pouch's locations and positions for this round in case Coco sitting on the green one was a fluke, but this time she chose the purple one. Maybe she just likes that spot on my bed or something, I don't know. Now we come to our third and final round where we start to break the mold. I added a third option this time because now we're determining the decade of the fandom I will be creating artwork for, the double aughts, the 2010s, or the 2020s. So I set out a blue pouch for Coco to choose, and I think having this new option open up to her broke her brain because she did not understand the assignment. Excuse me, young lady. You can't do that. That's not... Coco. Coco! I thought closing the iPad would help prevent her from being distracted again, but I got the exact opposite result. She just wants the iPad! Coco. Finally, I got rid of the iPad altogether so she wouldn't try to sit on it again. We all know what the options are supposed to be anyway, it's fine. And as soon as I set her down, she walked right past the pouches, so I thought we weren't going to get anywhere no matter what. Oh, what's this? She's coming back? Has she chosen her final category at last? Is that your final answer? Alright, the votes are in, and Coco wants me to draw traditional fan art of a series I got into during the 2010s. Now the question is, who am I going to draw? I could draw Blackrock Shooter! Ah, the nostalgia! Okay, I'm excited about this now, let's do it! See you, my plan is to draw a full page spread with Blackrock Shooter on one side and Deadmaster on the other. I probably wouldn't think to draw Blackrock Shooter fan art on my own if these parameters hadn't been chosen, which is kind of ironic since the OVA was one of the first series I watched in Japanese when I first really started getting into anime. Although Hamtaro was my first anime, and I knew what anime and manga were from the time I was a kid, when it came to franchises that really turned me into a weeb, I give an equal amount of credit to Vocaloid, Lucky Star, and The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. And this kicked off an era of my life where I would discover new anime based on what toys were being made of certain characters, since I got into the otaku circle through the merch that was being made of specific IPs. It was around this time that figures for Blackrock Shooter were first being put into production, and I thought the character designs were so cool, and the pilot trailer for the OVA was even cooler, so that was what kicked off both my entry into the fandom and my Figma and Android collecting hobby. I have all the Figmas and Androids for Blackrock Shooter, Deadmaster, Black Gold Salt, and Strength in their OVA designs, as well as the limited edition Blu-ray box set of the OVA that comes with an Android Petite set of Blackrock Shooter and Deadmaster, plus the art book and storyboard book. In fact, when I first made my channel all the way back in mid-2010, one of my earliest videos was a review of Figma Blackrock Shooter, so yeah, this series really played a key role in the creation of my online presence. I wonder how many of my subscribers are still here for my sporadic figure reviews. If I was using my brain more, I would have brought up my Figma so I could pose and use them as reference for this artwork, but they're in storage right now and kind of a pain to get to, so that's why I unwisely jumped straight into doing my first sketch. The bare minimum I could have done was create a thumbnail beforehand, but I guess I was just too excited to start drawing and wanted to get started right away, which I think really shows in the final result, to be honest. Oh well, I had a lot of fun doing the actual drawing process, and that's what really matters, I guess. That being said, this drawing position I was in behind the camera was absolutely not comfortable in any way, shape, or form. I thought it would be better if I filmed at a different location than at my dining room table like for my previous 2 videos, but boy was I wrong. I had to crunch my body in such a way that I could still kind of see what I was drawing without getting too close to the tripod that after one session my leg had cramped up really bad. Even after a day of filming, I'm still in so much pain that I could barely walk up the stairs, so I desperately need to find a stable camera setup if I want to keep making these kinds of videos.
My glutes.
Speaking of jumping the gun with this artwork, I was originally going to draw each stage of Black Rock Shooter and Dead Master's art simultaneously, but as you can see I got a little carried away with drawing Dead Master that I ended up completely rendering her in before going back to finish BRS. What can I say? She's my favorite character! Since the character designs for Black Rock Shooter are very achromatic by nature, one thing I really wanted to experiment with was having the art be almost exclusively black and white, then filling areas of the line art with a solid pop of the character's theme color before coming back in with a black brush to pick out the forms of their outfits and accessories, and I think it ended up looking really cool. Anyway, I haven't kept up with Black Rock Shooter in recent years. After watching the anime adaptation that came out back in 2012, I kinda got distracted by other stuff, but I'm pleasantly surprised to see that it's still relevant. Maybe I should check out some of the newer entries. I know not everybody is a fan of Black Rock Shooter, or at least when I was actively a part of the fandom, and I can totally understand why. The characters in the setting they're a part of immediately grab your attention and get you wanting to know more about this world, but most of that information is very inaccessible and you're just spending most of your time following Mato and Yomi's story while everything else about this original universe is kind of dangled just out of your reach, which can cause a lot of confusion about how certain plot points came to be and overall leads to a somewhat frustrating viewing experience because of how much the writers are trying to play hard to get, basically. I was aware of all of these problems going into the franchise, and I was still able to have a lot of fun with it, so take that as you will. Even though I'm not as into Black Rock Shooter as I was when I was a kid, and it did have the same lasting impact on me as other manga and anime I've consumed before or since, it still holds a very special place in my heart. And it always feels like I'm coming back home whenever I'm browsing through screen caps online or even just coming across fan art in the wild. Now I really want to watch the OVA again, it's been so long. Oh my gosh, we're already this far along into the drawing and I haven't even talked about my cat at all, even though she's the reason I made this video in the first place. I'm ashamed of myself. In my attempt to right this wrong, I'm going to give a little speech about the birthday girl herself. When we first got Coco in mid-December of 2016, she was not just my first cat, but the first real pet I ever had. She's always been a sickly cat, she's had a lot of health scares and close calls over the years, so seeing her make it to be as old as 8 years old makes this day even more special to me. I named her Coco purely because I didn't know what else to name her. My parents didn't like any of the other suggestions I'd come up with, and this was the one that stuck. A few other options swirling around at the time were Sheba, Moxie, and Soprano, but in hindsight I wonder if Dr. Leavesy would have been an appropriate name, because apparently Litterbox and my bed mean the same thing to her. She is so quiet, she hardly ever meows, not even for food. It's like she'll do anything else to tell you she's hungry besides just meowing, and it's kind of like, is this really necessary? Coco's got a lot of attitude, but her sweetness is all-encompassing. What she lacks in meow, she makes up for in chirps, flopped, and slow I love you blinks, to the point where I wonder if there's not a trickle of ragdoll somewhere in her gene pool. I kid you not, I could wake her up from a dead sleep and her first instinct is to start purring. However, she's not sweet to the point of being overly clingy, and if you try to cuddle with her outside her term, she'll give you a firm yet polite warning that now is the time. I remember in the first year we adopted Coco, I had a special pillow set aside for her on my bed so the two of us could sleep next to each other, and one night that we were together, I woke up at like 3 in the morning because I had a nightmare. I was able to get myself collected soon enough and started making myself comfortable so I could get back to sleep, but the act of me moving to a different spot on the bed accidentally woke up Coco, and oh boy did I scare the living crap out of her. She made the strangest noise that immediately stumbled onto her back with all of her paws spread out in the air, and she remained frozen stuck in that position for a good 5 seconds. I felt so bad and was patting her gently just to make sure I didn't give her a heart attack until I finally saw her relax a little. Then she got right back on her feet again and all was forgiven. So yeah, I was the one who had the nightmare, but I think Coco was more scared than me. Anyway, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today, so now I need to shut this video down. Make sure to get Boba Cat some pats, snacks, and playtime before you log out, and some to Coco too. And head to the description of this video to find links for every other corner of cyberspace I'm on. Thanks for letting me chat with you, and until next time, happy 8th birthday, Coco!